Today, in the series of media conference with Lal Goyal, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, and Samvad Sarokar News, as well as Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you about the impact of COVID-19. And today our topic is very interesting and which is very, very useful because the topic is COVID-19 challenges of parenting. Before I will start to discuss about the topic, today is International Day of Medical Transporters. Whether you are being rushed down the freeway in an ambulance after a tragic accident or on a medical emergency, medical transporters can hold your life in their hands. All over the world, people celebrate the International Day of Medical Transporters on 20th August in recognition of those who are there to ease the way when your health is on the line. We salute all of them. They are the unsung heroes. So today, now we would like to come back to our topic, and that is COVID-19 challenges of parenting. Parenting or child rearing is the process of promoting and supporting the physical, emotional, social, and intellectual development of a child from infancy to adulthood. Parenting refers to the intercases of raising a child and not exclusively for a biological relationship. Parenting practices around the world share three major goals: ensuring children's health and safety, preparing children for life as productive adults, and transmitting cultural values. A high-quality parent-child relationship is critical for healthy development. A coronavirus disease 2019, that is COVID-19, is changing family life. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization estimates 1.38 billion children are out of school or child care without access to group activities, team sports or playgrounds. Parents and caregivers are attempting to work remotely or unable to work while caring for children, with no clarity on how long the situation will last. For many people, just keeping children busy and safe at home is a daunting prospect. For those living in low-income and crowded households, these challenges are really alarming. This has serious implications. Evidence shows that violence and vulnerability increase for children during periods of school closure associated with health emergencies. Rates of reported child abuse rise during school closures. Parents and children are living with increased stress, media hype and fear, all challenging our capacity for tolerance and long-term thinking. For many, the economic impact of the crisis increases parenting stress, abuse and violence against children. But times of hardship can also allow for creative opportunity to build stronger relationships with our children and adolescents. To discuss today's the topic, that is the COVID-19 challenges of parenting, we have a very elite panel with us. I would like to introduce my first guest. He is Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand is the senior psychiatrist and marriage counselor. He is leading in the field of mental and emotional well-being for 40 years. He was president of IMA for 2 times. He was interviewed in several talk shows in domestic as well as internationally. Welcome, Dr. Anand, to our show. Dr. Anand, today the condition because of the lockdown is such that everyone is worried about the children, and the parents are also worried because those who are working, they have to do the work from home, and those who are not working, they are also busy because the entire family is at home. So we would like to know the COVID-19 challenges of parenting. Dr. Rajiv Anand, please.
Good morning, Namaskar, all the viewers right from Kerala to through Karnataka to Bihar to UP. And good morning to our coordinator, interviewer, Mr. Lal Goyal. Thank you for providing a platform for all of us to be here together. Welcome, Madhuri. Welcome, Shanvi. Welcome, Aditi. Talking about parenting, parenting has always been a challenge, right from the time of our great grandfather to us. At all the time, parenting had been challenging. There had been no time in the history when two generations gel very well perfectly. Because as the time goes by, the generation's value system changes, and each generation find it difficult to understand each other's perspective and the needs of various kinds, social, emotional, intellectual, and other kind of needs. So basically, parenting had been a challenge all throughout the history. Yet the COVID-19 has made it more acute, has made it more intense. Because if the challenges were only in 2 or 3 areas, COVID has increased the gamut of it. Now there are many more areas which are coming in the spectrum of challenges. And why it is so, I would just elaborate, if possible, in the next few minutes. Ever since the COVID-19 has come, there have been so many changes in our social life, primarily social life, then emotional life, then intellectual life, then financial aspect of our life, that none of us were geared to take it up. None of us had anticipated how we shall go through it. If I can just visualize, अगर हमको एक डार्क टनल से जाना है, डार्क टनल से, और हम पहली बार उस टनल में एंटर कर रहे हैं, और हमें से किसी को एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है कि उस टनल में अंदर क्या है और क्या नहीं है, और हमें से किसी को पता नहीं है टनल कितनी लंबी है और कब इसमें से लाइट नजर आएगी. So we all may come out with many weird symptoms. Some of us may cry, some of us may get angry, some of us may shout, some of us may take the name of the God, some of us may come out with abuses, which we probably haven't used for last many, many years. This is what exactly is happening. We are going through a dark tunnel. And as much as we are going through, as much as our colleagues, our partners, our children are going through. So last 5 months of this lockdown period induced by COVID-19 has come as a pressure to parents as well as to the children. Now we parents think that we are wiser, we are more educated, we are more powerful, we are more articulate, we are more intelligent. So we think from our perspective and we try to discipline children. If children could speak loudly, which one day they would and one day they do, if they could speak loudly, they could also say that your method of disciplining us or your method of controlling us is not appropriate. If you are going through your crisis of social and emotional, so are we. Have we as a parent realized that for the growth of the child, and this what I'm saying is known far better than me by all the three teachers, Madhuri and Aditi and Sharaniji, that children for their growth, as Mr. Goyal said in the beginning in the introduction, for their long-term growth, do they need only internet classes, only curriculum? Do they only need books? Do they only need to sit in the classroom? Or they need much, much more than that? And what they needed, connection to the nature, connection to the atmosphere, connection to the space outside, connection to the greenery, connection to the plants and the flowers and the trees and whatnot, and the birds and the sky and whatnot. We have, courtesy COVID, deprived them all of this. And we have been overemphasizing, बैठो पढ़ाई करो, बैठो पढ़ाई करो, बैठो पढ़ाई करो. A child cannot focus on his study, which I have been interacting with many teachers and principals across various boundaries. And children are finding it difficult to focus concentration while sitting in the internet-based classes, or what you call it, web-based classes. Because they needed not merely books, they needed to expand. The word is expansion. They needed to expand with the nature. They needed to experience so many different shades of nature, so many different kind of music which is played in the nature by birds or by different kind of sounds which are happening in the world outside the home. And somehow with COVID, we could not provide them. And we said, तुम घर में बैठो, पढ़ाई करो. Now, deprived of that, they are undergoing their own emotional crisis, which they are unable to articulate. And that's a big challenge to the parent. Now, if the children, be it, I have a granddaughter who is 1.5 years old, she's too eager to cross the boundary of the home to step out. She's too eager to go in the compound of the building. But naturally, her parents, my son, daughter, know as well as me, we restrict that for the obvious fear. No, you're not allowed. Naturally, her restlessness, no, she can't put it in words. Be it a 1.5-year-old child or a 5-year-old or 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, 20-year-old. Now they can't, not necessarily the grown-up may, if we allow them to, but younger one can't. So they can't express their agony that they are suffering. Now we too are suffering as a parents. So both generations are suffering at multiple dimensions, some at common, some varying to each other. Now I often think of one simple thing. If an accident happens, and suppose if it is a major accident on the road, and if there are 4 people who have been injured, and 4 people are crying out of pain, most often it happens that all 4 are crying out of pain. I often visualize a situation, let anyone and everyone think of, is my injury less than others? And if my injury is less than others, and I can move my hands, I can move my limbs, I can move my body, let me get up and help others who may probably be more injured than me. If each one would have this spirit that my injury possibly may be less, another person's injury may be more, then one person would get up and help other person to get up. If all would cry, then nobody would help anyone. This is probably happening as a major challenge to the parent, because parents are feeling pressed, compressed in the circumstances in the last few months, because they have social challenges, they have emotional challenges, they have financial challenges. I'm sure all of us have been hearing about, every week we come across one family who has come from a decent background, good reasonable income background, but last 5 months of zero income, no salary. They have come to a stage of finding it very, very difficult to make both the ends meet. Parents have their own challenges which they can't explain to the children, and I'm not blaming parents for any of the challenges which they are going through. My request in this difficult time, and this difficult time is analogy which I have done about the accident. The accident on the road may happen for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but the sequelae of it or the repercussions of it may last for hours. Now, this COVID-19 period is also a nature-created, whatever we may call it, accident, a social accident. The repercussions of it either may last for decades or years, or we can manage it, compress it successfully, overcome it as early as possible. And that's what would be the purpose of this webinar. Let's not get cowed down. Let's not get feel ourselves as a victim of the circumstances that I can't manage my children. No, let's treat our children not a challenge to us or our approach to them as a challenge to us. Rather, we should take them as our partner. We should take them as our co-passenger. We should take them as our colleague in the journey, because they are equally going through a difficult time, and we should increase our dialogue with them. Once we lift them, rather than oppress them, suppress them, dominate them, dictate them, don't allow them to express whatever they are suffering through. Once we lift them and bring them to a level of a healthy dialogue, then we would find suddenly that what we are labeling it a challenge are dissolving very quickly, are diminishing very fast, and our task is becoming easier, because the children whom we have been fondly calling them kids or children, we may be justified calling them kids or children, but they are individual in their own right. They are growing up. They wouldn't like to be labeled as kids or children and would like to be treated by us always authoritative. No, they would like us to be treated and respected as an individual. So towards the end of my initial contribution, I would very strongly recommend, whether somebody is sitting in Bihar or UP or Karnataka or Kerala, that your children are your asset. They are your friend. They are your colleague. And they are your co-warriors. In fact, they could also help you in many ways. If you understand them, they would also equally understand your life will become easier. COVID-19 has come, many more would come in future. This is one kind of challenge. Many other challenges would keep on coming in the life in different ways. Let all parents and children be together. So this is my contribution. Later in the second half, I may add something more.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rajiv Anand, for giving the details about the COVID-19 challenges of parenting. According to him, that this is not a challenge. One should not take it as a challenge. Although the pressure is there on both the parents as well as on the children, because children are not going out, they are not getting any space, they are only asked to study online, and that is not their nature. They want to have some space where they can go meet others, as well as the parents are also having lots of problem because of the pressure, financial pressure which they are having, as well as because of the COVID-19, they are also not going out and they are also logged in and working from home. But according to him, the best thing is if we will treat our children as our co-passenger, as our partner, as our colleague, then only we should start dialoguing with them. We should talk to them and listen what they say. They might be not as aged as the parents, but their views, because nowadays the children never wanted to be treated as a kid. They wanted to be treated as a individual person. And he also mentioned for the small children, they also want freedom. They also want to move here and there, which they cannot express because they are toddlers or infants. But it is better to understand, take care of them, and don't take it as a challenge of parenting, but enjoy the parenting by talking to them, sitting with them, and try to resolve the things, if any, because they may give you some good suggestions which will be helpful for the parents also. Thank you, Dr. Anand, for giving a new perspective about the parenting, and I'm sure our viewers, which is across the globe, will be taking, will definitely be advantageful because of your such type of good advice. Now I would like to go to our next guest. She is Miss Shalini Sinha. Miss Sinha is the ex-principal, Study Hall, Lucknow. Miss Sinha has initiated design for change projects in the school on a regular basis. She is passionate about designing curriculum. She worked as Vice Principal Academics of State M.R. Jaipuria School, Lucknow, and ICSE School for 2 years from 2010 to 2012. At present, she is working as an educational consultant and teacher trainer. She is having experience of 30 years. Welcome, Ms. Shalini Sinha, on our show. Ms. Sinha, you have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand has mentioned. According to Dr. Rajiv Anand, this is not a challenge. Parenting is not a challenge, but parents should enjoy. Parents should make their children as their partner. They should try to talk with them. They should try to they should try to express their views and listen to their views, and see to it that it will be advantageful and they should be comfortable, because according to Dr. Rajiv Anand, it's not only the pressure, the parents who are facing the pressure, but the children are also facing the pressure because they are also not getting the space. And just to say that, oh, you have to study online, this is not the correct way. So these are the views which Dr. Anand has expressed, and he says, make your children, treat them as a friend, talk to them. Now, we would like to know, Ms. Sal, from this COVID-19 challenges of parenting, Ms. Shalini Sinha, please. Please unmute. Please unmute.
Thank you, Mr. Goel, for giving me this opportunity. And I think, thank you, Dr. Anand. You really brought in a lot of points that that are very, very relevant, and perhaps they were on my list as well. So I have to quickly shuffle. A lot has been spoken and very well spoken by an expert. But, you know, parenting, as Dr. Anand had said, had never been simple. You will find books on psychology, you'll have books on a lot of subjects, but parenting is something which there is no book, and I wish there was some. But so I think to begin with, we should know what does parenting mean. So parenting means taking care of your children in terms of their physical safety, in terms of their mental safety, mental growth, psychological safety, intellectual growth. Most of us want our children to have a lot of opportunities that is going to take them to a different level where they'll become achievers and will do well in life and earn well and have a good family life, have good values. A lot to expect from two young people who decide to have children as soon as they get married, not because perhaps they want to have children, but perhaps because society wants them to have them. This is the only field I feel as parents we have not been trained to be parents. The only training we get is to get married and have children. So the parents are there much without any help of what good parenting is all about, and they fall back on what parenting they have had, which could have been good or bad. So let us discuss two scenarios. What used to happen before COVID was the alarm bell perhaps would ring at around 6, 5, whatever time, and the mother would get up, the father would get up, children have to get up, everybody was up and about, people went off to their work, tiffins were packed, children off in the buses or vans or walk to school. The mother, if she's working, also went off. The father working would go away. Everything was taken care of. The elderly were taken care of. People went to their places, came back in the evening, having found their relaxation and their own work. When they returned, they were suitably tired, not to get into arguments with each other. So they had, when they sat for little time with each other, they were able to talk nicely and go off to sleep to begin the next day. Now, post-COVID, now what's happening during COVID? The alarm bell rings. Perhaps it's just the mother who gets up. The husband perhaps is sleeping. And then you have your children who are definitely sleeping. Now, this shows, because in India, if you're talking of the Indian perspective, it is the mother on which the parenting falls a lot on, not so much on the father. Very few families will see fathers getting involved too. So you can imagine what will happen to this parent or the parents when they feel that they have lived through their whole life for 50 years, 55 years, as many years when they had their children. They've seen a particular setup where children are going to school and are doing regular work, which we feel is important for the child to do in order to grow and do well in life. And suddenly none of that is not happening. Your children have no regular school timings, there is no regular studies happening. You are not a teacher. So when there is an online class or an online test, the teacher's hands are tied because the student is not with the teacher. So obviously it is the parent who has to do a lot of work of a teacher as well. And with no household help at home, it is the mother or the father, if the father is helping, they are also involved in the kitchen and the household chores. So an already very demanding parenting task has been quadrupled. Maybe the challenges have gone up so high because now there is no really time to sit with the family, and then there is no time to sit with the studies of the children. Even if you have time, parents have rung me up to say, "Hame padhana nahi aata hai. We don't know how to teach. What do I do?" There are parents who just don't know. They can't work with the children with the English as a subject or a language. And we are schools that are English medium, everything has to happen in English. What is a parent supposed to do? Now, what happens, and I think Dr. Anand will corroborate, parenting is a lot about fear. We as parents are full of fear that our children will not be able to make it through in this life. We have very little faith in our children because we feel they're small, they're young, and we feel if we do not really exert and put those pressures of discipline and regular work, the child is really not going to really do well. And now with no schooling happening, the parent is feeling pressurized of the child having missed out on one whole year of teaching. So and the mother is not able to give time because she has to, if there are elderly parents in the house, the mother also is taking care of the elderly. So you can imagine what is happening to this mother. She's full of guilt. So coupled with fear, the fear leads to anxiety. Anxiety also is coupled with guilt. You can imagine what the parent is going through. And in this scenario, when I am, as a parent, if I'm full of guilt and I'm full of a lot of anxiety, how am I supposed to function with the fear, there's a physical fear that I might get the disease, then who will take care of the family, that the elderly in the house could get it or the children could get it. And then what will happen? If there is an overdose of news in the house, then you can imagine the anxiety is to a far more level. So the whole thing, there's this, as Dr. Anand again pointed out, there's this economic problem. There are salary cuts, there are job cuts. So how do you pay for the fees? I have definitely seen parents who have 2 or 3 children and they have withdrawn the younger child from the school, put them into another school with a far less fees, and they are letting the elder child continue in this particular school where the 2 children were studying, because they say that the child is in the 10th and or in the 11th, we would rather give the other child another school and not touch this child. Can you imagine what great difficulty the parent must be facing to have this option of which child to choose to go to a good, so-called good school according to them, and which child to then pull out of this good school? It's a very difficult decision. And so parenting is also about psychologically protecting your child. The child, I remember one parent who rang me up to say that, ma'am, I have my elderly in-laws living with me. My maid is not coming. And this was just when the COVID thing, the lockdown had just begun. And she said, I really don't know what to do because my husband, he doesn't really help out a lot in the household chores. And he expects that I must be taking care of the child. And he has the same demands on the child as he had regarding studies when the schools were open. So I was very confused. I said, which child? I thought the child must have been in 10th, 11th or 12th. So I said, can you tell me which class is your child in? You will not believe the child is in standard 3. In 3, the father is getting anxious that my child is missing out on studies. And the child is coming to the mother, not understanding, as Dr. Anand said, what is happening. Their children, especially 1.5, 2, 3-year-old children, do not have the vocabulary to express their feelings. They can't express their feelings. So what do? They get frustrated, so they become, they throw tantrums. Now the parent also has to understand. So parent is supposedly supposed to be like God, always had to be like God. You have to really be spiritually very risen to be good parents. And especially now in the Corona times, I think it is really a lot to expect from the parents, but because we are the elders in the family, because everything in the family would depend on how you conduct yourself. So first thing, I think the parents and especially the mothers should just stop feeling the guilt. If you're not finding time, if you want to find time only for yourself, I think first of all, the parents have to remove the guilt. It is but natural. Anybody would want the me time, the time that you used to get earlier. Get that me time. Before you start working on your children, parents, I would strongly suggest, start working on yourself. You are the instrument through which your family and your children will be well taken care of. So I would now end by very well re-emphasizing over and over again that it is the parents who need to work on their relaxation, on their calming down. Once they do so, it is but obvious the children will calm down on their own. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shalini Sinha, for telling us about the parenting. And according to her, it's not an easy task during the COVID-19, because what she says that because the children are at home and according to her, in Indian setup, the lady of the house is working from the morning. She wakes up in the morning, she has to take care of everyone, from the parents, from the husband to the children. And the children who is studying online, the father or the husband of the lady, he is expecting the same standard of education what the child was doing when he was going to the school or college. So it is not possible, and the child is also having lots of tensions, and then the child will show tantrums. And according to her, there is a fear, there is a lack of faith, and there is anxiety. And this can be overcome only if you, the parents, take out the space for yourself, for me, for ourselves. If we will think of ourselves, if we will take care of ourselves, then we can take care of the entire family. Thank you, Ms. Sinha, for giving your views. Now I would like to go to our next guest. She is Ms. Madhuri Sharma. Ms. Madhuri Sharma is professional trainer and academic consultant at Mumbai. Ms. Sharma have spent 15 years in education world. She is conducting workshops for teachers. Ms. Sharma has designed curriculum to take care of 21st century young learners, as she believes that children learn better through play-based curriculum. She is also a trainer in one of the EXCID Academy. She has done BCom, ESCID, that is ECCED, IPC, Postgraduate Diploma in Montessori and Diploma in Computer Science. She won the Best Teacher Award, Creative Teacher Award, Intercontinental Quality Award 2020, Leading Soft Skills and Professional Trainer of the Year Award, etc. Welcome, Ms. Sharma, to our show. Ms. Sharma,
yes, thank you so much.
you have heard what Dr. Anand and after that Ms. Sinha mentioned. Dr. Anand mentioned that you have to treat, the parents should treat the children as their friend, as their colleague, and try to share thoughts with them so that the children may also give their thoughts, and that the parenting will be easy. What Ms. Sinha says, that because of the anxiety, fear, faith, one must think of themselves first. If the parents will think about herself or himself, then they can take care of others. Now, we would like to know the COVID-19 challenges of parenting. Ms. Sharma, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Goyal. Thank you so much, Dr. Anand, and everyone and all my viewers who are listening to us. It is really a great initiative which is taken care by sir. Now, the thing is that we are always, like, we are adults, we are teachers, we are parents also, and we've been listening to so many challenges, and we are receiving calls on this, that my child is not eating, my child is not sleeping, my child is not wanting to listen to us, my child is not wanting to sit in front of the screen. So we have harp about it. We know that these are the problems. Everybody knows. I think this is the 6th month of lockdown, where we children with our parents, with entire family of 7 people around us. Now the routine is changed. Initially we had the set routine, we had the set timetable where everybody used to come for the help, they used to withdraw themselves, everything was set. Now suddenly, like, this is the 6th month, I myself is isolated. I am inside the house working from home, but life is yet moving on, what we say. Now, the thing is that we know all the challenges. What are the challenges we parents, we actually face is that right from the toddler to the preschoolers to the adults. Of course, the adult 15, 16 teenagers also are not like we leave them alone like that only. So starting from the preschoolers, we take care of the 5 domain areas of development. Of course, yes, we know as a teachers, we know as the parents, but the 2 things what I would like to highlight is their social emotional development is being not properly taken care of because of this COVID-19. Secondly, their physical development is not at all being taken care by us, that we are not saying that we are purposely not doing it. We are trying our level best. This is the biggest challenge what we have observed, and we're getting calls from all sorts of areas of people. So now we know the problems. Now let's work on the challenges. Let's work on the problems. So 3 suggestions what I thought of, and we are continuously working on it. Firstly, we would like to thank the government, which is coming up with new schemes to help the preschoolers and the school-going children and the government exams what are giving. Of course, we will not leave them like that. So starting with the preschoolers, we think that they need more connection. They need more listening ears. Of course, they might not eat anything. They will throw tantrum, as sir told, and Ms. Shalini told that they will throw tantrum. Tantrums are in different forms. They might sit quietly. They might ignore you. They will not listen to you. They will throw something on you. They will throw the plate that I don't want to eat this. So all sorts of things we know we are observing. But what are we doing? The thing is that we have actually taken care of things by reading something, books. We have gone through the Google and all sort of things. That, yeah, we need to do certain things, but still we feel that we are the failures. So this negative thoughts comes in our mind and creates an anxiety level that why do we feel that I am not able to do something? Now, the first thing, I am not able to do something, we have to remove from our mind as a parents. First, we'll have to take care of child's physical development, where the child used to go out to play, go down to play, go on the terrace to play, next building, garden, park, cycling, everything is being stopped now. Now, I think what we have observed, that children started adapting to the situation. They listen to the news, they listen to the parents. That's the positive signs which we have observed. So let's continue helping them out in understanding them more by communicating them and giving the listening ears to them. When I'm talking about the physical development is the biggest challenge nowadays, because they are not able to go out, they are not able to play cricket, they cannot score in everything. So play inside ball, you can play hopscotch and everything you can play. You need to set the entire routine activity with them, which we are ignoring, because we mothers, we parents having so much of in our hand to do, like we are working from home, we have to cook, we have to wash the vessels and all. So first we need to work on our challenges so that we can take care of children. So this was all about physical development. Second, when I'm talking about, and we have received so many calls and so many emails on this, that how to take care of the social emotional development of the child. Like they are not listening, they are not sleeping, bedwetting and all sort of things are happening. We understand. Now what to do with them? We need to spend more time. I would rather call it that these are the challenges. I should say these are the opportunity which we've got to stay with our children, so that we can sit with them, we can study with them, we can play with them, we can eat with them. So this is how they are connected with us. This bonding is, I have seen even with my children, this bonding is amazing, because we've got so much of time. Initially, it was not there. We used to struggle for the time. Oh my God, it's 7 o'clock. I have to go to work. Now I have to come back and take care of the homework. I have to come back and then I have to cook. So all these things is now it is things, because 24 hours we are at home with our children. Plus point is that, and when we say the disadvantage of that we ourselves are creating those challenges, those problems, because every time we are spoon feeding them. I am available for you, even if they don't want us, they want some their time. Like Miss Shalini said that we want our me time, children also want their me time. They do not want every time you follow them, you feed them, you force them to read, you force them to study. They do not want your physical appearance 24 hours. This is what we have observed. So when we have spoken to many parents, we've counseled many parents, and what we found out, when you give them their time, they will actually find this space of their, that yes, I am here all the time. These 7 people around me cannot be taking care of me. I can take care of myself. Like me time, my time, the child's time. This is what social emotional. Social emotional is why, because now they are not going for the birthday parties. They are not going for any celebrations. They are not stepping out. We can of course have the solution of that, virtual learning. This is the way what is virtual learning is happening. You can always do the virtual birthday parties. You can always have the virtual meetings with the parents, with the relatives, with the friends next door, next building, next street, everything. So for that, you have to be actively encouraging them for this certain period of time, not every day. If you make the habit of that, of course, they'll get bored of this virtual meeting also. So this is the social emotional learning is happening. Social emotional learning, not only with the parents, not only with the help of the relatives, but of course with the help of the teachers and schools who have come up with amazing strategies. So those were the challenges where the child was alone without their parents. They were sitting inside the class and the teachers were the only whole and soul who were helping them. Yes, agree. But now the parents are there with them. They're learning. We have observed that parents are sitting with the children. They're learning many things. So that is the positive sign which we are overlooking it. So I think we need to see what is happening right now, and so much of effort we are putting it. So social emotional learning, by joining the classes, by attending the school, and government has come up with so many amazing ideas to keep the child engaged. Like that. Now the third one is what is missing. The challenge is that what I counted, what I found out and we're happy about is that setting the routine is missing. Any time we are getting up, any time we are sleeping, no nap time, no lunch time, no food time, no tea time. So everything is like whenever the child is getting up, let's go without taking bath, let's go. Now the virtual learning is happening very actively. So they are sitting like that only without brushing their teeth. Why? Initially, and they used to go to school, they used to brush their teeth. Now, what is the, I have not observed anything that why the child has to sit in front of the TV or in front of the your laptop or any screen to attend the online school without brushing the teeth. These tiny, tiny things which we are not observing, it is creating problem because this is being overlooked by the parents. We have grandparents, we are blessed with them, with their help, they are helping us. We have husbands with us, we have aunts with us, everyone is there. Now this is the blessing, what I call, this is the opportunity. Now what is missing? Setting the rule. So let's set the rule again to find out the biggest solution of this. Set the timetable, what time, who has to get up, brush your teeth. The school time starts from 8 a.m. Before half an hour, you have to get up and have milk and get ready and sit. And then you have to finish, then your lunchtime, the way exactly we used to do before our COVID-19 time. I think this is now we have adapted to the situation that there is no point of coming with the excuses that my child is not listening. Why? Initially, before that, we were having the complaint that I'm not having time to sit with my child. I'm not having time to do the homework with my child. I'm not having the time to do the storytelling with my child. So now I think that is gone, and now we have this opportunity to sit with our child, to sit with our spouse and the family members. Let's utilize that time. So I count it as an opportunity. Setting the rule, and then obviously we have already discussed that they have the tantrums, different ways. We know mothers, we know as a family members what different types of tantrums they can throw. Obviously, they need to be taken care of. If you think this is not, you are not able to take care of their needs and their tantrums, let's take the help of the people who are actually, I say professional, which if we are not able to take care of those situations and all. Thirdly, swap your role. Every time mother being a mother, father being a father, it is like children are getting frustrated. Why is mother only getting every time the plate? Why is mommy only taking care of my homework? Now swap your role. Mother's role should be taken care by the father, and father's role, that strictness, what we call, that firmness, what we call, should be taken care by mother. So this is the role which they have to swap and they can play. So this is how these tiny, what we are doing, really hard work on that, and we were missing. So this is now being taken care of. Observe what is your child doing as a parent. Take your professional help if you are not able to cope up with their feelings and not able to understand what is happening with my child. 6th month of COVID-19 lockdown is, I think, happening. I would say we have harped about the challenges, we have harped about the problems. Start working on it. So major, I would say, physical development by being with them, by hopscotch, throw ball. Now I think you have the playgrounds to go, many buildings that you can take them, be with them, encourage them. Last advantage, I say, the increasing of technology. Use of technology is being increased, and we cannot blame the school that they're taking the virtual classes because my child is sitting whole day. This is again I'm facing because I have to sit with him or her. I have to be with her or all the time. No, set the routine. If the child is adult, he is in primary class, he can actually take care of his own studies. Pre-primary, you need the sub-course with them. You need to sit with them and decide who will sit for so many hours and who will sit for a particular days and all. So physical development, social emotional development, and setting the routine. I think these are the major issues I've got. So many parents were discussing, and we've given the solutions. Start working on it so that you can use it as an opportunity to be with your children. That is what I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Sharma, for giving your views. And according to her, this is an opportunity, not the challenges. And she mentioned that there is a social, emotional development and a physical development, which is lacking because of the COVID-19 lockdown, which is entering now 6 months. And she says that every child wants some physical development. For physical development, he or she has to go out to play, which is not there because of the lockdown. And she also said because of the socio-emotional, because earlier the child was going out for the studies, now he or she is sitting home. They are not following the routine which they are following earlier. No, according to her, parents should see to it the same routine. Whether they have to brush in the morning, they should brush, and then they will follow the same routine. They should also swap their position. The child should not feel that only mother is working whole day, bringing plates, food, etc. Husband should also participate in that and try to see to it that the child will be socio-emotionally developed properly. And according to her, if we will do all these things, then only the child or the good parenting will be. And it is not me alone, it is for the child also. He also want Me Too space, which not only the parents require the Me Too space. So we have to see to it, the parenting has to be in that way that the child will also get the space, child will also be developed physically, child will also get the development socio-emotionally. Thank you, Ms. Sharma, for giving your views about the challenges of parenting. Now I would like to go to our next guest. She is Ms. Aditi Raheja. Ms. Raheja is a senior special educator with a leading educational institute in Chandigarh. She specialized in managing educational need and behavioral therapy for children with special needs. Welcome, Ms. Raheja, to our show. Ms. Raheja, you have already heard what Dr. Anand said. He was very particular, and he says that parents should treat the child as their friend, the partner, and then only the child will understand them, and the parents will understand the child. Ms. Shalini Sinha mentioned to us that the parents should be very careful when they are dealing with the child, but they should have a me space. First, they should think of themselves. If they will develop themselves properly, if they take care of themselves, then they can take care of the children, because according to her, fear, anxiety, and all these factors are there. So one has to be very, very careful when dealing with the children. And what Ms. Sharma said, that there is a opportunity, not the challenges. And this opportunity is the physical development or socio-emotional development. And for that, she suggested that we should, apart from Me Too time, they should also think for the children's time, Me Too space also. So now we would like to know from you the COVID-19 challenges of parenting. Ms. Aditi Raheja, please.
A very good morning to everybody. And as rightly quoted by Aldous Huxley, that the secret of genius is to carry the spirit of childhood into your old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. So I would like to begin my session with all of you with this quote. And a lot of usable tips have already been discussed here by Dr. Anand, Ms. Sinha, and Ms. Sharma. And I would like to say that, the most valuable learning as an educator, as a special educator, which I took from children, is to find joy in the simple pleasures and to accept. And with this, I would like to, brief all of you that it has been already 5 months and up that we have seen a drastic change in all our lives. The COVID-19 pandemic has upended the life around the world, with schools being closed, working remotely, physical distancing, social distancing, no social life. It's a lot to navigate for anyone. And I'm sure as parents, it has a lot which has come up on you at this point of time, with so much of economical disparities, which is disturbing everyone at this point of time. And you can't go for work, children can't go to school, worried about money, economical differences. It's normal for anyone and everyone to feel stressed and overwhelmed. So with schools shut down, I see this as a chance for you to make a better relationships with your children and teenagers. And a one-to-one time is free and fun time. Also, it makes your children feel loved and secure, and it shows them that they are loved and then they are also important. So I would want to share few of the tips which are very handy and which you can use in your day-to-day lives to make you feel easy, relaxed, as well as your children around you feel secure and loved. So as a parent, I would like to share that be calm and proactive. Parents should have a calm, proactive conversation with their children about the disease, about COVID-19, and the important role children can play in keeping themselves healthy. So you must encourage your kids to let them know that if they're not feeling well, they must come and speak to you. And of course, as parents, we must that there's nothing to worry. This time shall pass too, and we must together work it out and must together figure it out how to make this lockdown being a memory, a lifetime memory for all of us. So by being a calm and a proactive person, we keep ourselves relaxed as well as we won't navigate the stress to our children. Secondly, we must let our children feel their emotions. With school closures, cancelled playtime, concerts, sports event, everything around the activities that children would love and the children used to love looking at, they all have been deeply disconnected and disappointed about missing out on a lot of things. And because of this COVID-19, we all have been stuck to a same basic routine now, which has also been very dull and as well as very boring. So what you must do is support, expect and normalize that of course they are sad, they are going through an emotional and social dilemma, so they are tend to be frustrated just like you. So don't lose out on them if they are not listening to you. And when in doubt, empathy and support are your few tips to go with your children. And as rightly mentioned by Ms. Sharma, also stick to a routine, get a structure. With lockdown being around with us for more than 5 months now, everybody has gone to an easy and a lazy way of lifestyle, with everyone taking a chill time, be it students, be your children, with online classes being on, no uniforms, not showing their faces on the camera. So children are also not getting that structured lifestyle, as well as with you being working from home, things have taken a toll on all of you emotionally, physically. So children need a structure, they need a full stop. And what we all are having to do very quickly is entirely, trying to involve a new structure to get away one of us through our days. So allow your children to follow a structure, to follow a timetable which they decide for themselves. Make them a part of it. Don't just impose your demands on them. Rather, I would say, with teenagers, let them sit with you and let them discuss how they want to plan, how they want to structure their day. And when they start designing themselves, a sense a sense of responsibility is felt by the child. And of course, to take charge, to be the charge of my own life, keeps a child moving and looking forward. And yes, when children misbehave, so it is normal that when children are tired, they are hungry, they are afraid, insecure. And of course, with this whole pandemic, they are learning independence. They can drive you really crazy when stuck at home. So few things which you can just follow with your children when they are misbehaving is redirect. Redirect as in catch their bad behavior as early as possible and redirect their attention from the bad to the good behavior. And more importantly, stop it before it starts. So when they are starting to get restless, you can just distract your child with something interesting or fun to do. Secondly, use consequences. Consequences help the child understand responsibility for what they do. They also allow discipline of that what is controlled. So this is more effective and this is going to be more helpful to you than hitting or shouting at your child. Take a pause. So when you feel like screaming, when you feel that things are going out of your control, just give yourself a 10-second pause, breathe in out 5 times, and then try to respond in a calmer way. And this will, I'm sure, going to help you a lot rather than taking the whole scenario into a negative sphere. And more importantly, learn to praise your children when they do something good. This will help them in seeing the positive, the strengths inside them, and to, of course, use it more often. So, yes, check in with them, what they're hearing. Since there's a lot of information, I would say a lot of misinformation circulating about the COVID-19, keep a conversation on with your children, maybe around a dinner time or a snack time when everybody in the family can sit and talk about the whole scenario of COVID-19. Uh, Create welcome distractions, as in when it comes to processing difficult emotion, take your cues from your child, and really think about balancing, talking about your feelings with finding distractions. Monitor your own behavior, because of course parents of course are anxious too, just like kids. So kids are going to take the emotional cues from us. Children rely on their parents to provide a sense of safety and security. So it is important for us as parents and as adults to remember that our children are the passengers in this whole journey, and we adults are driving this car. So even if we are feeling anxious, we can't let that get in the way of them feeling like safe passengers. And most importantly, I would like to just take pause here with my last tip for parents who have children with special needs. And during this whole time of COVID-19, just like other children, children with special needs are also isolated with no social interactions with peers, no inclusion happening around. They are also feeling isolated, delusioned, being at home with the, getting stuck to the same routine with their parents. So for such parents, I would like to just say, be empathetic with your children, talk with them, involve, engage them in a lot of activities which they love doing or they can learn doing it. And of course, keep it positive, because we all must remember we are not alone dealing this whole COVID scenario. Uh, we will get through this only if we are stronger inside, and only if we feel that we have the strength inside to deal with COVID-19, and we shall get through it. So thank you so much from my end.
Thank you,
And
Ms.
I
Raheja.
would like to
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Raheja, for giving so many tips to the parents. I am sure your tips will be very useful. You said that the parents should try to interact with the children as much as they can, and they should have a structured timetable for the children in consultation with the children. That nothing should be imposed on them. One should consult them and then prepare it so that the child will also feel involved. And she's mentioned, Ms. Raheja mentioned that we should enjoy this time, make it a lifetime memory of this COVID-19 time. She has also mentioned there's a lots of problems. One can feel anxiousness, but one should understand the children are like passengers in the car and the parents are drivers. So anxiety should not drive the car to an accident. So one has to be very, very careful right now. After all, this pandemic is for everyone. And in the last, she has given an advice to the parents who have the special need child, that because there is no space for the child, they are not meeting anybody for the special need child. According to her, be positive with them, talk to them, and keep them happy so that the special need child will not feel isolated. Thank you, Ms. Raheja. You have given so many tips. Even I cannot repeat those tips because there are lots of tips. I am sure that all the views which have been expressed by our viewer, our eminent panelists, are very, very useful for the parents. But now I would like to ask the question to our Dr. Rajiv Anand, please. Uh, Dr. Anand, is parenting going through really difficult time during this period? If yes, is it temporary or it may have long-term effect? Dr. Anand, please.
Okay, Mr. Goyal, thanks for asking this very pertinent question that we all love for our own ego regions to treat everything as difficult. And we are expert in making or converting simple things into difficult ones. And then we enjoy telling 10 others people or 100 other people who is ready to listen to, oh my God, parenting is very, very difficult. I'm struggling with the parenting. There's a challenge in parenting. There's a challenge in being wife, challenge in being husband. So we have this very difficult, mysterious habit of making things difficult to show that how much capable we are. None of the bird, none of the animal, no other living creature ever shout from the rooftop how difficult their parenting is, while they struggle much, much more against so many odds in the nature and so many predators who are ready to eat their eggs much before a baby hen comes out or chick come out or any other animal. So they never crib about it. They have much bigger challenges to survive, yet they live joyfully. While we, most intelligent, bright people, we continue cribbing about because we love to face difficulty. And so every simplest thing we convert into. So is this time, last few months. Now, if we are concerned about that it's going to have repercussions for a long time, no. I was rather thinking a few minutes back before you posed this question to me. The science has to, or any aspect of science has to come down to the level of application in the most simplified way, most consumable way, most consumer friendly way, most palatable way. Then it's worth science. Otherwise, it remains in laboratories or in remain textbook or in remain scriptures, whatever way soever. I believe parents should treat themselves equal to the child, and I'm very strongly believe so, and I'm going to recommend to every viewer sitting anywhere in the country or anywhere beyond the country, any section of society. When we say my child's second birthday, then we say my child's second birthday. And we love to cut the cake. मेरे बच्चे की आज दूसरी बर्थडे है. अगली बार आपके दूसरे बच्चे की दूसरी बर्थडे हो, तीसरी बर्थडे हो, उसके साथ में एक छोटा केक भी रखिएगा. वो मेरी मदर की आज तीसरी बर्थडे है, मेरे बच्चे की तीसरी बर्थडे है, मेरी मदर की तीसरी बर्थडे. तो नेक्स्ट टाइम आपका बच्चा याद दिलाएगा, मम्मी आपकी 4th बर्थडे उस दिन है, क्योंकि आप भी तो मदर जब ही हुए ना जब बच्चा हुआ है. तो आपकी बर्थ एज ए मदर और उस बच्चे की बर्थ एज ए चाइल्ड दोनों एक साथ हुई हैं. अब आप दादागिरी करते रहते हैं, मेरी सुनो, मेरी मानो, मैं तुमसे ज़्यादा जानती हूँ. और वो जो दादागिरी का जो गैप है, अगर दादागिरी वर्ड थोड़ा सुनने में यूपी और बिहार का लग रहा हो, तो अपनी अपनी स्टेट में कुछ ना कुछ वर्ड जरूर होगा जो इसका सेम मतलब देता होगा कि हम उनको डोमिनेट करते हैं, हम उनको अपनी बात मनवाना चाहते हैं, और इस तरह हम उनको इमोशनली एलिनेट कर लेते हैं, हम उनको अपने से दूर कर लेते हैं. तो उनमें जो सुधरने की, सीखने की गुंजाइश होती है, वो भी हम मिनिमाइज कर देते हैं. तो वाई नॉट, हमारी भी बर्थडे है, तुम्हारी बर्थडे अगर 4 अक्टूबर को है, तुम्हारी बर्थडे है, तो हमारी भी बर्थडे 4 अक्टूबर के. तुम्हारा बड़ा केक कटेगा, हमारा छोटा केक बटेगा. इससे फायदा क्या होगा? कहीं ना कहीं डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली हम मान रहे हैं कि वी ऑल्सो नीड टू लर्न एंड वी ऑल्सो नीड टू ग्रो. यू आर लर्निंग, growing to be a better child. We are learning, we are also growing to be a better mother or a better father. I'm not saying only about mother, I'm equally saying about father. No gender bias about it. Now, if this would be implemented in spirit, in letter, it would go a far way in making things simpler. कोरोना जैसे क्राइसिस पहले भी आए हैं, अलग अलग रूप में, अलग अलग मैस्कुरेट करके, अलग अलग चेहरे नकाब पहनकर, और आगे भी आएंगे. अगर हमारे पास हिम्मत है, ताकत है, समझ है, तो हम उन सारे क्राइसिस को जीतेंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Anand, for giving the details about the parenting. And Dr. Anand has suggested that when you are celebrating the birthday of your child, if it is a 2nd or 3rd birthday, please keep one small cake for the mother also. Dr. Anand, what about father? You have not mentioned that there should be an extra cake for father also. Anyway, so, but the idea is that we should have one extra cake for the parents or the mother or the father. So the child will also understand that, okay, I have born on this day and my parents have become parents, or the father or mother. And the parents will also understand that their responsibility is increasing because the child is born 3 years back. So I am also now the 3 years of the parenting. So again, we have to take care of the children accordingly. And according to Dr. Anand, this type of pandemic earlier also came, not of this much big magnitude, but yes, different types of problems came, and it will come, go, but we should concentrate and we should try to follow our own position and in a proper way, so that the child should not feel frustrated and the parents should also give the proper parenting to them. Thank you, Dr. Anand, for giving such a good reply and a good example. I'm sure many of the viewers will start doing this thing, and the bakery will thank you for giving more business. Now I would like to ask Ms. Sharm Sinha, what do you think, where lies the fault? And especially when we are talking about the COVID-19 now, more with the children or with the parents? Because as per the data which are emerging, lots of depression have started. They say that even earlier it was about 10%, now it is 30%, more cases of suicide and whatnot, because of the unstable family life, as well especially the parents are facing heat, definitely because of the financial, but as well as with the children and others. So now I would like to know, what do you think, where lies the fault, with the children or with the parents?
Thank you for the question. Yes, it is something that we really need to think about. I don't think so. There's really somebody's fault in this. Nobody is at fault. I think children and parents both have been thrown into this without any kind of preparation ever. So there is this thing, and as Dr. Anand said, a small cake, it's a good idea, but we still have to understand that my child may be 3 years old, but I am a 3-year-old mother, but I am still a 25, 30-year-old or whatever year-old person on this earth who has got a lot more experience about life, and also I cannot be the same as my child because I have seen parenting all my life from my own parents. So because we are not the same age as our children, definitely, as I said, it is nobody's fault. But the onus definitely lies on the parents. Because as Aditi very rightly said, we are the drivers of this car. And the driver cannot say it depends on the passengers. Of course, the passengers, they're small children, and not necessarily, why are you thinking your children could be 20-year-old, 21-year-old also staying with you. There are children who are going to take their board exams. So obviously, there is a lot of tension running across, and we have to open our eyes and say, yes, parenting is definitely a very, very sensitive thing. It is full of fear. Have to work on themselves. I think the most important thing why depression really happens is because there is desire. And there's desire for a lot of achievement for you and for your family. That when you feel is not going to happen, so you start getting depressed. That is a major cause of depression. Your desire for a lot of things, your greed for a lot of things. Now many parents who come to me are basically more in tune with, if the children are grown up, what will happen to their studies and their careers. So I just feel that parents should understand. Think of when your child was going to school. Majority of the schools in our country are really not dwelling into life skills. They are teaching you the subject, the curriculum, the textbook. They are not teaching you life skills. But life skill is what is helping me today. Life skill is what is helping that parent to take the family forward. That is the life skill where parents did not find time to give to the children. The school did not really give much importance to it. So this is the time to utilize, to bring those life skills. And the most important life skill is mindfulness. This is the time when you're all together in that house. Create a little space of just breathing, the breathing exercises. Do some chanting of whichever religion you belong to. Just sit in silence. I mean, it's so important to sit in silence. We never teach that in schools. And immediately when something happens, the psychiatrist will tell you go into silence. Look into yourself. Find what you feel. Now that finding space, God has given it to us. Nature has provided it to us today. Teach our children and ourselves to be in silence. Let's learn and teach our children to be minimalists. We have been using nature to such an extent that today we have this virus of our own making. Don't you think it is time for us now to really think of living in minimal and not overspending? Isn't that this thing you would like to teach your children and yourself? What about teaching care? Teaching empathy. Empathy for the mother, perhaps, if she's the only one in the kitchen. As Madhuri ma'am very rightly said, swap the roles. Let the father do the kitchen work and the mother does something else. Let the child not get gender trained. This is the time to break that gender training which we were giving. This is the time to build in empathy in ourselves and in our children. Empathy for what? Empathy, look around. Look at all those laborers, how they suffered. On the roads, they died like insects. Is that not important for a child to think? How important is math in front of this? I think it's more important the child grows up looking at people as people, looking beyond their lives and their textbooks. Let parents give that space. This is the golden opportunity with no schooling as such to go to, nobody where you are going out of the house. Use this opportunity to develop empathy, minimalism, and mindfulness, and keep the channel of communication open. Give a lot of words of feelings and how a child can express, and involve them in the whole process of your bringing up the family. If there is a salary cut, if your child is old enough to understand, don't hide. Make the child a part of the process. Be with them, and that is what is important. So it is actually a great time to teach life skills to our children, which no school was teaching, and we also weren't finding time. So I don't, as coming back to your question, Mr. Goyal, it is nobody's fault. We are all thrown into it, but definitely it is the parents' responsibility to drive it. And as I said, I would stick to that, is I can only drive something when I am calm and quiet. I can only drive something when I am in silence. And so it is up to the parents to drive it to the thing. And I'm sure we'll all come out. Human race is known. We have seen many pandemics. Human beings are known for coming out of it. We are very resilient. Resilience is again a very important thing to teach our children. We will come out of it. Talk to the children of the pandemic of 1918. Bring a book. You can have books being delivered to you at home. Teach with them. Learn. Read with them. And find out, well, how did people survive the pandemic? How did people survive the Black Plague? We survived. Humanity survived. We will survive. But what will take us ahead? Those skills need to be taught. Because as Dr. Anand said, this pandemic is not over. The virus will not disappear. It will remain in whatever form. And new viruses would again come. So it's life skill we need to concentrate. And let's thank God for this opportunity that has been provided to us and make the most of it.
And thank you, Ms. Sinha, for telling us that this silence is the best remedy, and there is no fault of anybody. But yes, the responsibility lies with the parents for the good parenting. And according to her, if you have such types of problems, be silent for some time. Teach this, take this opportunity to teach this thing to the children. Let them see beyond themselves. They should see what is happening. Try to teach them about the pandemics and whatnot. And then the child will also understand. And then you can say that your parenting is better, because you will be giving the time to yourself. And once you will give the time, you are calm. So you have quoted Ms. Aditi, and you say that we are driving the car. If you are calm, then there will be no chance of accident, and you can reach to the destination safely. Thank you, Ms. Sinha, for giving your reply. Now, my question to Ms. Sharma is, Ms. Sharma, two types of families we have seen, the nuclear and the joint family. And there are lots of talks are going on that the joint family is always better because of the COVID-19. Earlier, people prefer the nuclear family because when they were working. But now, because of the COVID, people have started talking about the joint family. Although I reserve my comments right now because there is a report which has come from WHO yesterday only, or day before yesterday, which says that the nuclear family is better because nowadays the infection which is spreading here and there is because the youngsters are bringing the infection to the house, and the seniors or the grandparents are getting that infections, so mortality is high. But we would like to know that during this COVID-19, where the parenting is better, in the joint family or the nuclear family? Because challenges are both sides. In the joint family, the housewife says that I have to work from morning to evening for everyone. Earlier, the people were going for the job, and so there was only the grandparents staying home. But now everybody is staying home. The nuclear family, the problem is that the wife and husband both have to work from home, and the child has to work on the online education. The challenges are both of. I would like to know from you your opinion, please.
Thank you so much, sir. The only thing what I have observed, like I said, this is the 6th month, and we are, it is not that I focus only on nuclear family or joint family. I am contrary to that situation, that no family at this current challenging time, which is crazy time, what we call that only nuclear family will survive or joint family will survive. No, after all, this is the family which is together, no matter with the parents or grandparents. The child or we as adults, we need each other and we need each other's help. Secondly, if we feel whether it is joint family or a nuclear family, we need to support each other. Now, children at the youngest age, what I'm talking about, pre-primary, they also started knowing that, yeah, we need each other. We need to help each other. So when we talk about the family, I would not focus on this particular type of a family, because now this is a situation whether you have 7 people as a joint family or you have 3 people, 4 people as a nuclear family, still we have to help each other, including the youngest group of children, what we say the pre-primary level or this thing. Second thing that I'm talking about the joint family, that there are many people and every person is unique in him or herself. They have their own way of talking. They have their own way of expressing. So you need to respect their way of thinking. Whatever they are saying, they are not speaking anything out of their way. We need to respect them. What are they saying? And at the end of the day, come to the conclusion, what is going to help each other during this crazy time. So this is what, no matter you have 7 people as a joint family, you need to understand and respect each other's opinion. Because at the end of the day, we are fighting with the COVID. We are not fighting with any particular group of the family member, whether they are 4 as a nuclear family or whether they are 7 or 8 as a joint family. So when it is coming to the joint family, of course, the number of people are very less. They have their less limited boundaries. They have limited work. Still, they need to support each other. So it is like working independently, jointly, coming together on the same platform, that we need to fight COVID-19 together, whether it is a joint family or it is nuclear family, for the of the youngest group of children. So I would suggest both are same for me. That is the only thing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Sharma. According to Ms. Sharma, it's a same thing for parenting, whether it's in the challenges are the same for the parenting, whether it's a joint family or nuclear family. And she has given the details. Because of the paucity of time, I would not like to repeat now. Now I'm going to our last panelist. She's Ms. Aditi Raheja. Ms. Raheja, do you think, due to the COVID, the increasing lack of trust between parents and children, is there increasing lack of trust between parents and children due to the COVID-19? Because everyone is sitting home, the trust factor which was there earlier when the child was going out and parents were also going for the work or they are doing their jobs. But now they all are sitting, so they are watching each other, what they are doing, what the child is doing, the parents. So do you think the lack of trust has increased? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. I think there's no reason to have distrust or mistrust on your children when they are home with you, because just like you are working from home with the new whole change scenario of working, for children also it's altogether a new scenario to study from home, wherein 24/7 the parents are there on their head. Previously, when children used to be in school, they could make up a lot of stories from parents and have a lot of secrets. But now, since they are home, they are finding it very difficult to hide their secrets from their parents. I mean, with me doing my online classes with children, children at times, you know, a lot of children, they're complaining of being at home these days. During my sessions with them online, they all want to just go back to school and be with their children and with their children friends, their peers, and you know, get back to the normal life again, because of parents surveillance, I would say, all the time on their head. But for parents, I would like to just brief them to be more sensitized, more sensitive, and the whole you know, towards the whole pandemic, that we all have been, you know, forced to do few things which we never wanted to. So as parents, they should not you know, mistrust, they should rather have more trust and faith on their children, that this is the time when they will, you know, जो हम कहते हैं उभर कर आएंगे इस सिनेरियो से, इस पूरे पैंडेमिक से। तो हमें अपने बच्चों पर वो ट्रस्ट दिखाना चाहिए, और इस जर्नी में, जैसे कि पहले भी कहा था, साथ में चलना है। तो बच्चों को ये पूरा विश्वास दिलाना चाहिए कि वी आर टुगेदर, क्योंकि व्हेन वी विल नॉट हैव ट्रस्ट ऑन ईच अदर, become very difficult to survive for all. So with this, I would say, even if parents feel कि मेरा बच्चा पढ़ नहीं रहा है, या you know, he is playing an online game, I think parents must set rules to that with their children, rather than having trust issues. So yes, that's
Okay.
my
Thank you, Ms. Aditi, for giving your reply for the question. And according to you, the trust, one has to have the trust, although there is a lots of anxiety with the child, because child always feel that there is a surveillance, 24-hour surveillance by the parents. So the parents have to trust the child also, and they should not do something which will frustrate the child. Thank you very much, Ms. Aditi. So today you have seen the parenting, the challenges of parenting, and you have seen the experts' opinion. They have given so many tips. I am sure these tips are so useful if we will follow them, because one of the panelists says that parenting is such a difficult task. It is there is no literature available on that, and whatsoever is it available, you cannot follow everything. So you have to learn yourself. You have to get your knowledge yourself with your own experience, with the experience of your friends, and with the experience of the expert opinion which has been given to you. And I am sure that today's program will definitely benefit millions of our viewers everywhere, because everyone is worried about the parenting, and which is very, very important. After all, children are the future of not only our generation, but for future of the nation. So today's program, which has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring every day new topic about the impact of COVID-19 or the current situation. And tomorrow we are going to have on media conference with Lal Goyal at 10:30 a.m. COVID-19 revival of hotel industry. Yes, revival of hotel industry. It has been now come to the light that the hotel industry is reviving. It means the Indian economy is reviving. So please tune in tomorrow at 10:30. I would like to extend my thanks to our esteemed guest, Dr. Rajiv Anand, Ms. Shalini Sinha, Ms. Madhuri Sharma, and Ms. Aditi Raheja for joining us, giving so many important tips to our viewers. I am sure the parents as well as the children will be benefited by listening and viewing today's program. Thank you very much. Thank you all.